Just put a nut in me, I'm a happy boy. Yes, I'm sure if I say that on the internet, that won't come back to bite me. We've already talked about what exactly is and isn't a nut. Spoiler for that video, not many of the things we call nuts are really nuts. But nevertheless, we have a whole section of foods out there that we refer to as nuts. You know the guys I'm talking about, little brown lumps of tasty goodness that are great to eat on their own, or even mixed into things like a salad or curry. There are tons of different nuts that we enjoy eating, and many of them have pretty odd names. Words that don't sound all that much like any other words in our lexicon. So today, we're just going to look at some seriously nutty names. First off, we're going to be looking into the macadamia nut. This is a nut of a plethora of uses. It's just as at home in a salad as it is in a cookie. This nut is actually native to just one small nook of the world, New South Wales in Australia. Since its discovery by the wider world, however, it is now grown all over the place, from Hawaii to South Africa. Despite being an Aussie native, the name is actually not from any kind of Australian origins. Though according to Wikipedia, they're also known as marucci nuts and bauple nuts, which I imagine are Aboriginal names for them. The name is actually of Scottish origins, and this is one of those names that is super obviously Scottish once you actually look at the darn thing. The ES suffix is used all the time in horticulture as a word forming element, but when we remove it from the name macadamia, we are just left with macadam, which is resoundingly Scottish. Specifically, it's a Scottish last name meaning son of Adam. It comes from one John McAdams, a Scottish-born chemist who became a big deal down under, so much so this nut was named after him. It's so interesting how much the pronunciation of the name macadam changes when you add the e suffix. It does a very good job of disguising the Scottishness of this name, like the macadam nut. It should really be called the macadamia nut. Macadamia nut? Macadamia. You see, that's why it becomes macadamia, because saying macadamiums is just a bit difficult, but macadamia, when you hear it like that, you might think it comes from some sort of strange exotic origin, macadamia, but no, it's just McAdams, the Scottish last name, with the ear suffix. I love it. It's one of those etymologies that I just really got a kick out of. Next up, we have the cashew, which might actually be my favourite of all the nuts. Eat them as is or mix them in a curry and they're so good. Cashew is one of those words that have tumbled through history, being altered every time it enters a new language. The nuts are native to Brazil, and their native name ultimately comes from the native Tupi language and their name for the trees they grow on, Acajuba. And apologies, I don't speak Tupi. If there's any Tupi speakers watching right now, just let me know to say it down below, but thank you. But while on the subject of cashew trees, have you ever seen how cashews actually grow? Each singular cashew nut grows on the bottom of a fruit known as a cashew apple. Wow, like there's this whole fruit that we kind of just ignore. You can eat them. I found some videos of people eating them online, but we can just take the one little bit off, and every cashew you've ever eaten was attached to like this weird fruit no one talks about. Wild, absolutely wild. But anyway, that Tupi name was then adapted by the Portuguese who colonised Brazil into Acaju, which was then borrowed by the French who translated it into Acaju, and finally English got its mitts on this French word and turned it into cashew as we know it today. So cashew is an English translation of a French translation of a Portuguese translation of a Tupi word. As for what that Tupi word ultimately means, we have no idea. Before we continue, I'd like to briefly talk about Patreon and Super Thanks. Patreon is the best way to financially support Name Explain, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what names are explained, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below. Conversely, if you want to just make a one-time donation, you can leave a Super Thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. The pistachio, like the cashew, too has a name which tumbled across history, perhaps even more so. These nuts are native to the Middle East and have become a staple snack. As they come from the Middle East, it should come as no surprise to hear that the name is ultimately of Persian origins, from their name of pistah, which is of unknown origins too. The Greeks then took this name and turned it into pistachion, which then the Romans took and turned into pistachium, then it became pistachio in Italian, and finally pistachio in English. Walnuts might have a name which might sound a little boring at the outset, but is actually of really interesting origins. They are native to Southeast Europe as well as parts of China, and their English name of walnut really reflects their foreign origins. The nut part is fairly self-explanatory. It's the wall part where things get interesting. It isn't named after walls or anything like that. There's this old Germanic word of Welisch, which means foreign or outsider. This eventually got adapted into Old English as wheel with the same meaning. It's from this word where the wall in walnut comes from, as it simply means foreign nut because this nut was grown in exotic foreign lands. It was also from that Germanic word as to where we got the name of Wales from too, because the natives of that land seem very foreign to the English speakers. And if any of that sounds familiar, we've actually covered it recently in a video about the Hungarian name for Italy. It's absolutely insane how much this word pops up across language, from being used in the name of a nut to appearing in a country's name. Also, I have to share how walnuts are grown too. They grow inside these little lime-looking fruits that then like peel open to reveal a nut inside. Seriously, nature's wild sometimes. Like we just eat nuts. No business, just cold, but so much effort has gone into growing these things in really ridiculous locations and just situations. They're growing on top of apples, they're growing inside fruits. Just, I don't know, you could say I'm nuts about nuts. Yeah, I went there. I said it slowly because I thought I was going to say something funnier, but no, just the most bare level thing came out because that's the level we're operating at, evidently. And finally, we have the pecan, which I found out is pronounced pecan in the USA, like that dude from Star Trek. These guys are perhaps best at home in a tasty pecan pie. Man, I love pecan pie. Just nuts, just put a nut in anything, I'm a happy boy. Just put a nut in me, I'm a happy boy. Yes, I'm sure if I say that on the internet, that won't come back to bite me. Anyway, this is a nut and pie very much linked with the USA. So it should come as no real surprise to learn that the name is from Native American roots. It simply comes from the Algonquin word meaning nut, most likely from the Cree language and their word of pecan, which means hard shell nut, which makes sense as the pecan, as well as most other nuts, are known for their hard shells. So whether you're adding them to a salad, a pie, a cookie, a curry, or just having them as a tasty snack, now you know how a selection of nuts got their names. Let me know about any other interesting nut names I might have missed out on. Also, please share the topic down below which we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them on a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic covered in next Monday's Name Explain video. You can vote in that poll as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough for myself, but don't forget to go follow on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and don't forget to join the Facebook page, Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. Anyway, so I've just had a massive sneezing fit and I'm still snotty. Sorry, TMI. They're looking all okay, yeah, good. Let's go. We've already talked about what is and isn't a nut. I got that bit wrong. Exactly. I can feel another sneeze coming on. I'm gonna cut before that happens. Borpel and a marucci. They're fun words, aren't they? First off, we're going to be looking into the macadamia nut. This is macadamia. Hay fever season, yay. Next up, we have the cashew. Cashew, because I've been sneezing a lot. It sounds like a chew. Sorry, let's try again. A cajuba. Don't know about pronunciation. If they 2p listeners watching, 2p watching, listening. Huh, got that wrong. It should come as no surprise they hit. Oh, itchy nose. It's from this word where the wall. It's from this word where the wall in wall up. Oh, okay. Okay, all. Take care. We're done. My God, my nose just what? No, I'm gonna be really difficult right now. Cheers, nose.